A politician's wife strolled into my jewelry store, grabbed a necklace, and declared, "Just bill it to the city. We deserve special privileges." When I refused, she scoffed, "I'll have you shut down by tomorrow." I smiled, held up a hidden camera remote, and said, "Great, because I just sent this whole conversation to the press." So I run a jewelry store. Nothing flashy, nothing high-end Beverly Hills kind of thing. Just a good, honest place in a mid-sized city in the US, been around for over a decade. My dad started it, and when he passed, I took over. We have regulars, we do custom work, engagement rings, anniversary gifts, sometimes a retirement plaque. You name it. It's enough to make a living and still feel proud. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Slow day. Rain was coming down in sheets, and I was just cleaning some display cases when the bell above the door jingled. A woman walks in, tall, done up from head to toe, heels clicking on the tile. She didn't look around much. She walked in like she owned the place. I greeted her like I greet everyone. "Hi there, welcome in. Let me know if you need help." She glanced at me like I was a bug. "You're the owner?" she asked. "Yep." She smiled, but it wasn't warm. More like a smirk. She pointed at one of the locked cases. "That necklace. The gold and sapphire one. Take it out." Didn't even ask how much it was. Just told me to get it. But fine. People with money act like that sometimes. I pulled it out, handed it over. She tried it on. Looked at herself in the mirror for maybe 5 seconds. "This will do," she said, then reached into her purse and pulled out. Nothing. No wallet. No card. No cash. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Just bill it to the city." I paused. Thought maybe I misheard her. "Sorry," I said. She waved her hand like I was an annoying waiter. I said, "Bill it to the city. My husband's on the council. We get special allowances for community representation. He's working on revitalizing the downtown. This is part of that." She smiled again. That fake politician smile. The kind that makes your skin crawl. I said, "I don't bill anyone unless I have something in writing. You'd need to clear it with city procurement, and I've never heard of the city covering personal jewelry." She laughed. Not like something was funny. More like I was stupid. "Do you know who I am?" she asked. Nope. Didn't care. "I'm married to Councilman Darnell. You know, the man who's basically responsible for this whole district getting grant money last year. We bring business. We are the business." Then she added, "We deserve special privileges." That's a real quote. Burned into my brain. I stayed calm. I've dealt with pushy customers before. But this wasn't pushy. This was something else. This was corruption in a pair of $500 heels. I said again, "Ma'am, I can't let you walk out of here without paying." She scoffed. Tossed the necklace back onto the counter like it was a fake from a dollar store. "You'll regret this," she said. "I'll have you shut down by tomorrow." Now here's the part she didn't know. I had installed hidden security cameras years ago. High-quality ones. Not just for theft protection, but because sometimes we deal with insurance claims, and people try to pull scams. There's also a little remote under the counter. It's wired to start uploading the feed to a cloud folder when pressed, just in case something serious goes down and the system gets wiped or destroyed. I reached under the counter while she was talking and clicked the remote. The footage was clear. Audio, too. Every word. She turned to leave, all confident and smug. That's when I said, "Great, because I just sent this whole conversation to the press." She stopped mid-step, turned around. Her face drained. "What?" I held up the remote, pointed to the camera. "I've got your face, your voice, your words." The whole "bill it to the city" line. The part about special privileges. I just sent the feed to a reporter friend of mine. He's already writing the story. "You're bluffing." "Nope. Want to see the upload confirmation?" She stood there, frozen. Her eyes were darting. I could tell she was thinking hard. Probably wondering how much of a mess she'd just walked into. Then she changed tactics. Fast. Her voice softened. Listen, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. I didn't mean to come across rude. It's just we do a lot for the city, and sometimes things get misunderstood. I didn't respond. She tried again. Look, I'll pay for the necklace. Okay. I'll just pay for it. Too late. Way too late. I said you should go. She didn't argue. She just walked out fast, heels clicking harder than when she came in. 10 minutes later, I got a call. It was from an unknown number. I didn't answer. Then came the emails. One from some assistant to the councilman, claiming there was a confusion earlier at my store and asking me to delete the footage. Said it was all just a joke, taken out of context. Sure. I didn't reply. The next day, there were already whispers on the local news. A segment called Power and Privilege, when officials overstep. No names yet. But the story was growing. City Hall called me later that week. Not the councilman. Not his assistant. A legal department. They wanted to discuss the incident. I said I'd be happy to. Just needed to bring my lawyer. Now people were talking. Customers started coming in, asking, "Hey, is that the lady from the news?" I didn't confirm anything. Just smiled. But more people came, and then reporters. One of them was from a well-known local channel. Wanted an interview. I declined. But they got their hands on the footage somehow. That part's a mystery I won't explain here. The councilman's office issued a statement a few days later. No city funds were ever used for personal purchases. Any claims to the contrary are fabricated. Sure they are. But then someone leaked an internal email. One where that same assistant had written, "Can we process the necklace request under community image?" Now people were pissed. That's where things are at now. No ending yet. But trust me, it's coming. And it's going to be loud. 2 days after that email leak, I noticed a city code inspector parked outside my store. Didn't think much of it at first. Maybe someone reported a crack on the sidewalk or something routine. But the guy wasn't just taking notes. He was walking around my storefront, squinting at the signage, measuring the distance between my window display and the street, checking behind the building where our dumpster sits. Then he walked in. "Mr. Reyes?" he asked. "That's me." "Yeah? I'm with the City Code Enforcement Division. We received a complaint about possible violations. Unpermitted signage, improper lighting, and some questions about your backlit waste disposal." I laughed. Not because it was funny. Just because it was too damn obvious. I've been operating the same way for 12 years. Never once had a problem. He didn't smile. We'll still need to conduct a full inspection. Today, he spent over an hour in my store, nitpicking everything. He took photos of things like a small scuff on the floor tile and a display light that flickered for a second. The next morning, I got a notice. I was cited for 6 violations. 6, including unauthorized external lighting and non-compliant sidewalk signage. The fine was $3,200. And I was given 5 business days to comply or face a temporary business suspension. That was the twist I didn't expect, but probably should have. They weren't just trying to get me to take the footage down anymore. They were trying to bury me in red tape. I called my lawyer. We filed an appeal, bought me some time. But I knew what this was. Retaliation. I posted the inspection notice on my store's front window. Took a picture. Uploaded it to our store's Facebook page with one line, "Councilman's office wants us gone. Here's how they're doing it." The post went viral. I didn't expect that part either. Comments started rolling in. Customers, locals, even people from out of town. That place is a landmark. Total abuse of power. Councilman Darnell has been shady for years. Glad someone's standing up. People shared their own stories. About being ignored, being dismissed, their neighborhoods getting skipped over for funding while certain streets in Darnell's district got brand new sidewalks and decorative lamps. One woman claimed her bakery was cited twice for non-compliant window tint after she refused to cater a campaign event for free. Then came the phone calls. Not just from reporters now. From lawyers, investigators, watchdog groups. Apparently, my story cracked open something deeper. But with that came more trouble. I started getting weird visits. A man in a gray sedan parked across from my store 3 days in a row. Just sat there. Didn't buy anything. Didn't come in. Just watched. Then one night, someone threw a brick through the store's side window. No theft. Just damage. I called the cops. They wrote a report. But I could tell they weren't taking it seriously. One of the officers actually said, "You've been making waves. Maybe tone it down." Tone it down? I replaced the glass. Put up a new sign in the window that said, "Truth doesn't need permission." I also upped my security. More cameras. Hidden ones too. Extra storage backups. Cloud uploads every 30 minutes. That's when I got an anonymous tip. Someone emailed me from a burner account. No name, just a subject line. "You're not the first." Inside was a typed message. Councilman Darnell's office has a history of weaponizing code enforcement against businesses that don't play along. One guy used to run a mechanic shop near downtown, suddenly fined into closure after refusing to offer free services for campaign vehicles. He moved to another state. Never fought back. You should. Attached were 3 PDFs, inspection reports, all dated within weeks of that election year. I cross-checked the dates. Matched the names. It lined up. So I went public again. Another post. This time not just about me. I listed the bakery, the mechanic shop, another cafe. All random targets of code violations after interactions with the councilman's office. That's when the news picked it up. Not just local stations, statewide media. Suddenly, Darnell wasn't just the smug councilman. He was the face of a potential abuse of power scandal. A group of local business owners formed a coalition. They reached out to me, asked if I'd speak at a press conference. I said yes. That's where the real conflict hit. The morning of the press conference, my phone buzzed nonstop. Blocked calls. One voicemail said, "Drop out. You're in over your head." Another just said, "Back down, Reyes. You won't like what happens next." I forwarded everything to my lawyer. We contacted the authorities. They didn't do much, but at least we had it documented. When I showed up to the press conference, there were 3 news vans, a crowd of about 50 people, and 5 other business owners beside me. I looked straight into the camera and said, "This isn't just about a necklace anymore. It's about a pattern. A system where power is used to silence small business owners. We're not silent anymore." But that's not the ending. Not yet. Because the councilman? He wasn't going down without a fight. And now things were about to get uglier. A week after the press conference, everything seemed to go quiet. Too quiet. The phone calls stopped. No more random cars outside. No bricks, no threats. It felt like the heat had dropped off, like maybe we'd made enough noise that they were backing down. A few news sites even started calling the scandal dying down and possibly overblown. That should have been my first warning. Then my bank called. The manager, someone I'd known for years, sounded uncomfortable. "Mr. Reyes," he said, "I hate to bring this up, but your business loan is being reviewed for compliance. There's an audit scheduled. They flagged some irregularities with your payment history." "Irregularities?" I asked. "What are you talking about? I've never missed a payment." "I know. I looked at your file myself. But someone filed a report that you may have submitted altered tax documents during your last renewal. I don't think it's true, but I can't stop the audit." It hit me like a punch. They were coming for my finances now. I called my accountant. She pulled the files. Everything was clean, all documented. But still, it didn't matter. The process itself was the punishment. While the audit dragged on, my store's credit line was frozen. Couldn't restock, couldn't pay 2 vendors on time. I had to delay a custom order for a couple celebrating their 40th anniversary. I hated it. Meanwhile, Councilman Darnell released a statement saying he was a victim of a coordinated smear campaign by certain discontented business owners with axes to grind. He painted himself as a champion of the city under attack by conspiracies. And somehow, people bought it. He did interviews, told the media he was being targeted for trying to clean up downtown and that some business owners don't like rules. He smiled the whole time. And then one morning, I came into my shop and found the front door unlocked. I always double-checked. I always locked it. Nothing was stolen. But the safe was open. Empty. All the inventory from the weekend, the custom orders, the antique bracelet a widow brought in for cleaning, the diamond earrings I hadn't even tagged yet, gone. No signs of forced entry. Police showed up, filed a report, but again, didn't seem too eager. They said maybe it was an employee. I don't even have employees. It's just me and my cousin. And he was out of town for his daughter's surgery. I checked the cameras. Footage gone. That's when I realized they'd hit the cloud too. Someone had accessed my backup. Wiped it. They'd known exactly what to target, which folders to kill. I was furious. Not just about the money or the jewelry, but because I knew who was behind it. Not directly, maybe. But it was too clean, too specific, too calculated. This wasn't random. I met with the other business owners again. One of them, Laura, who ran a print shop, showed me a letter she got that week. It was a city order. Her location was being rezoned for public transit infrastructure. In other words, condemned. Her lawyer told her it was a quiet form of eviction. No notice, no negotiation. Just gone. That same week, someone tried to buy my lease. Offered way below market rate, but the guy who made the offer? He was tied to a real estate firm known to be cozy with Darnell's office. I declined, of course. But that's when it clicked. This wasn't just about power trips or revenge. It was about land. Downtown real estate. If they could get enough of us out, they could clear the block and turn it into condos or office parks or whatever developer dreams politicians like Darnell get bonuses for delivering. It wasn't just about a necklace anymore. It wasn't even about pride. It was a land grab. So I went digging. City council records, zoning proposals, redevelopment plans. I pulled files, called in favors. Dug through public records until my eyes blurred. And buried in a line item from 2 years ago was a plan labeled Downtown Revitalization Initiative. Harmless title. But inside? Proposals to demolish 6 specific blocks, including mine, and rezone for commercial towers and retail chains. Only thing stopping the plan? Existing businesses still holding long-term leases. Like mine. Like Laura's. Like the bakery lady. It all made sense now. And here's the best part, the file wasn't supposed to be public yet. It was marked as internal draft. But it was online for maybe 3 days before someone caught it and removed it. Too late. I had the PDF saved. And I sent it to every news outlet I could think of. Suddenly, the story wasn't about an angry jewelry guy whining about a rude politician's wife. It was about a pattern. A clear plan to push out independent stores to make way for development deals, and using city power to do it. But that wasn't even the last twist. Because 3 days later, I got another email. From someone using an encrypted address. It had one sentence: if you go public with that file, check your back records first. Attached were scanned documents. Invoices. Signed under my dad's name. Apparently, 10 years ago, someone donated jewelry to a council event and never got proper receipts. And now they were trying to say I owed taxes on that donation. They were reaching back into a dead man's files, trying to twist my father's name into a weapon against me. And suddenly, it wasn't just business. It was personal. I stared at those old invoices for hours. They weren't fake, but they weren't right either. My dad did donate to city events sometimes, jewelry for auctions or fundraisers. But the records were always handled clean. These versions? They'd been edited. Different dates, wrong item descriptions, even a signature that didn't look like his. I knew what they were doing. If they could plant doubt that our store had ever played dirty, even years ago, it'd be enough to taint everything. Turn the spotlight off Darnell and back onto me. I didn't sleep that night. I went through every old file I had. My dad's papers, ledgers, scanned receipts. I found the original donation record from one of the events they were trying to twist. Same event, same date, but the item was a silver watch, not a gold necklace. Their fake invoice said otherwise. That was the crack. So I made one final move. I emailed everything I had to 3 places: a well-known investigative journalist at a national news network, the state's attorney general office, and a retired city official who once helped my dad with business permits and still owed him a favor. Then I waited. I didn't have to wait long. 2 days later, the story exploded. The journalist ran a segment called Gold for Favors, the real cost of power in our cities. She had everything. The footage of the politician's wife demanding the necklace, the city code targeting small businesses, the rezoning files, even a side-by-side comparison of the fake invoice and my dad's original records. It was like a bomb went off. City Hall went quiet. Then came the scrambling. Councilman Darnell held a press conference where he fumbled every question. He called the footage edited, the files doctored, and claimed I was leading a personal vendetta. That same day, the Attorney General launched a formal investigation. 2 weeks later, Darnell resigned. Not with dignity. He tried to blame his staff, then his wife, then a toxic media environment. Nobody bought it. But the real ending? It came one morning when I opened the store early, like I always did, and found a small envelope slipped under the door. No return address. Inside was a necklace. The necklace. The same one the wife tried to take. With it was a note. You win. But I hope it was worth it. I stared at it for a long time. Was it worth it? I'd lost sleep, money, customers. My reputation got dragged through the dirt. I'd been threatened, robbed, investigated. But I still had the store. Still had my name. And now the truth was out. I didn't keep the necklace. I donated it, for real this time, to a local shelter's auction. Let it do some actual good. Laura kept her print shop. The bakery ladies sued the city and won. The mechanic moved back and reopened with community support. But me? Yeah, I made mistakes. I didn't go quiet when I should have. I pushed hard. Maybe too hard. Maybe I made enemies who didn't deserve it along the way. I called out people who turned out to be scared, not corrupt. I let the fire in me burn too hot. But I also didn't back down. And when people walk into my store now, they see more than just jewelry in the glass cases. They see a sign that reads, "Truth has weight. So does silence. Choose carefully." Sometimes I look at the empty spot on the shelf where that sapphire necklace used to be. And I smile. Because in the end, I didn't sell it. I turned it into a weapon. And I used it.